Hi, everybody. This is G.I.Jolie here in front of Detroit Comics with Yanick Paquette. Yanick, you are hot off of the release of Wonder Woman Earth 1. What are your thoughts on, especially feminist reviewers, the fact that they don't think that this is a feminist book?
Yeah, well, that was to be expected in part. When they offered us to do Wonder Woman, we could have done like a very unrisky, conservative, cool adventure. But we took that challenge up to make it as sensual as the 40s and crazy as the 40s, while sporting a very modern feminist position. And this is not safe. I mean, of all the characters at DC and Marvel, Wonder Woman is a minefield. And most writer goes into this being careful not to get people out of their mind. In the case of Grant Morrison, he didn't care. He just went in there full power with massive footprints and made his way. And we got the result. Some people got frustrated. Now, about the physical aspect, like I've heard people telling us that this is like a too much of a feminist book and men are evil like usual. We know it. No. They were not happy. But we also got the other spectrum of the equation saying that, well, we're both Grant and I, myself, we're both guy, and so we have no rights to even talking about feminism, even though we were not forced to talk about feminism. This is our own choice. We just got handed Wonder Woman as an option, and we figured, you know what, Wonder Woman should be the perfect mouthpiece to talk about those things. And it's all on purpose. We did that on purpose. In terms of the physicality of stuff, I'm totally I'm gonna put that for it come across super clearly. I'm comfortable with sexuality entirely, and I don't see sensuality and feminism as opposing forces. They should not be opposing forces. One of the things that is a profound frustration is the perception of sensuality and sexuality to some degree as something evil and bad that we should avoid. Maybe I'm coming from a immoral society, and but my mother is super feminist. We're coming from a very, very liberal and proactive, egalitarian world, which is where I'm coming from in Montreal, and sensuality is not a problem.
Now, I know that we interviewed you almost years before the release of this book, and we talked a little more about how there would be phallic representation. Now, when I read it, I almost didn't see any. Did editorial have a hand in, I don't know, like scraping that from the art? I kind of went back and tried to count the dicks, and there was one.
Yeah, no, there was not that much. I mean, the way it turned out, it's a work in progress, all of this. Editorial had nothing to say about that book. I mean, in a book with Grant Morrison and myself, I don't think it's really me, but it's really Grant. Editorial just let it slide, you know. So yeah, I thought as I was drawing stuff, I was more into rounded shape, and I think Grant picked up on it, and in the media, he changed part of what he was saying. He's like, yeah, from the start, we thought about doing stuff in terms of breast shapes and stuff. But, you know, it's almost accidental. So work for me. I want to add something about this, the physicality of stuff and the sensuality. Yeah. There's a big debate. First thing, when we started doing that book a few years ago, the internet was not as sensitive as it is right now about the gender in comics. Now we have reached a point where almost anything creates like a big drama. It's probably it's for the best because it gets the ball rolling. Sometimes there is the ball roll
into a whining field.
But yeah, the Amazon, they're all perfect. That was part of the deal. The idea is that the Amazon are ridiculously, outrageously perfect and disconnected from the world. They represent superhero physicality that is in utopia. This is the principle of the book. And then when Wonder Woman comes to reality, she encounters all sort of variation on the female anatomy. They're all beautiful. You get tall one, you get short one, and I've made like a terrible. I'm spending a lot of time and energy taking photos of my friends that I felt they're beautiful and they're different. They don't look like superheroes, and that's the entire second half of the book. Yeah, people will look at that stuff. Oh, yeah, sure. They're just drawing perfect woman all the time.
Oh, okay.
That's not true. Look at the book.
Well, I mean, even part of the argument is they're talking about how the Amazonians are like fat shaming Etta Candy's character.
Absolutely, they do, because they're not perfect. Nowhere it's written that the Amazon should be perfect in all things. Wonder Woman is the bridge between those two unperfect worlds. The Amazon, they're fascists, and they're bitchy, and the world of man is abusive and terrible in its own right. And only Wonder Woman tries to make those two work together. If we want to be a complete society that will respect women and men, we have to work together. And that's the together that is important there. And Wonder Woman defends the right of woman, but also try to get men part of the equation so we can all live happy, all of us.
Men, women, and animals. She saved that deer.
Yeah, she does. She does save the deer.
Okay, so I guess the next question revolves around the origin of Wonder Woman. So if you haven't read the book, stop watching. Why are you still watching?
Please.
Spoiler alert. What was the thought behind changing the origin of Wonder Woman from being molded or sculpted into being birthed?
Yeah, being bird. Well, I because Grant gave me the script without dialogue. For most of it, I discovered it with everybody else when I read the last version of the script a year ago. Well, the idea is, in her case, Wonder Woman has been designed as a weapon, as a vengeance weapon by those fascist Amazon, as a revenge against the world of men. But as time passed, Hippolyta find out that, well, she's Diana. She's not a weapon. And she's a loving person, and that initial plan failed. But yeah, the origin of it is that she's not made of clay. She's like engineered using Hercules as the super mass destruction weaponry. Some people would make the reference that it's not the same, but it links to what Azzarello did. And I can see that, but at the same time, we've been working on that for years and years and years and years before Azzarello. But it's all right. He's faster. He went, and his story is different and it works very well. It's one of my favorite personally.
So you're talking about how she's kind of, maybe she was engineered this way. We're talking about Hippolyta earlier. Do you think that maybe there's, going into volume 2, maybe there's a bigger plan? We'll see more of what she had envisioned over those 3,000 years on Themyscira or Amazonia?
Yeah, honestly, I can't speculate on what's in Grant's mind at this point. As we were doing the first volume, many times over, I tried to speculate what I was doing just to, and it turned out that we ended up doing something different. But I have no idea where it's going to go with this. But in a way, part of the critiques that we had will help us understand some of the aspect that people might find it not clear enough and might have misread it to a point where they think we're misogynistic monsters, as that's not what we are. So there was some miscommunication, maybe, or maybe some people read that book in ill faith. It's sad, but on Twitter I've seen like some tweets of people say, "I just bought Wonder Woman Earth 1. I'm gonna read that thing tonight." So at least they bought it,
Didn't even read it first. At least they bought it. You're right.
They bought it.
Okay,
that's money for me and Grant. Thanks. The thing is, it's okay. It's okay if you don't like it. It's okay if it's not your cup of tea. I mean, it's not like it's only one version of Wonder Woman available out there. There's all sort of version of Wonder Woman. The awesome Legend of Wonder Woman is a beautiful book. Maybe this is more what you might be looking for. We're not supposed to do, all of us, the same thing that you're looking for. Yeah. We're going to try all sort of different things. Some of those things are not what you're looking for. And that's all right. Yeah. No, this is art. I'm not going to doctor a vision of Wonder Woman to make sure I'm going to satisfy the most people possible. I'm going to do something that I think is worth doing and is daring enough that gets me going.
There you have it. We'll see you again next time.
Yeah.